Today on the Mile High Sports Symposium, we're going to talk about the Nuggets making some off-season moves with Peyton Watson and DeMar DeRozan. We're going to talk Broncos.
We're going to be talking.
Yo, welcome to the show. Let me set the scene. Mile High Sports Symposium, living the dream. Broncos in the house with that orange and blue. Nuggets making moves, watch that altitude crew. Avalanche bringing ice, check the skills they display. Rocky swinging bats, ready for on gameplay. Rapids in the mix, kicking it with style. Buffs bring the heat, put the rivals on trial. Chris and JT, they got the scoop. Give Mile High vibes, feel that energy rise. Sports on the menu, watch the crowd mesmerize. From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. It's a meta
Just
All right, well, welcome to your favorite podcasts. I am the doc, Dr. Nicholas Manning, with my brosifs. Well, absolutely with Chris Whitwright. Where all the tight ends at, for sure. Holler at your boy. And our third wheel, JT, will be here at some point in time.
he was here and then he wasn't. So.
It was, and then was not, which it tends to happen at times.
Yep.
But first and foremost, how are you? How was the week without me? Have you recovered, and do you feel better now?
Yes, and the reason I feel better is because you weren't there. I was able to talk and had my point heard rather than just hear Nick rambling for an hour and a half.
I mean, it's what
I'm kidding.
I
I love having you there, and I'm glad.
That's what crazy people feel like when they hear God's voice. Yeah,
right. No, we did miss you, and it was a good show. So if you didn't catch it, next players to be excited about for the 2026 college football season and the 2027 draft were discussed, and that was a good time.
Yeah, you guys stole a few of my guys. That I like, which I like. That means that I'm not a total dummy. If I like guys that you like, then we like.
Although I'm half convinced that you picked your 5 based off the names that there was no chance in hell that I was going to be able to say. Like that Notre Dame.
I made sure that I gave a couple. Which ones did you struggle the most with?
Sensenzala. How about that? I'm learning.
Sensenzala. Brewer great.
Right.
Also known as Sensatella. One of those dudes.
Whatever.
But you know what?
He's not on the team anymore. Why do I have to care?
He is not. It's all that good stuff. We don't need to worry about it anymore because he ain't here no more. How? Let me get your excitement meter about the foosball. Okay, so football's literally around the corner. I mean, real football, not preseason football, but week 0 and in college football, and obviously week 1 in the NFL. How excited are you? Are you super pumped? Are you kind of pumped? What's your level of pumpedness?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I got removed from the thing there. No, I'm really excited. The Broncos should be good. The Cowboys, I think, will be better. Miami Hurricanes are going to be pretty good, and the Jayhawks will play. So, those will. So, yes, I'm excited. I really hope the SEC and the Big Ten figure out these pros going back to college kind of thing, just to at least get some clarity there. I think it's weird that these guys are going back to college so so soon. I can't imagine, training for 8 months with the team you have, and then, literally during the season, having a professional come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to take your spot." So
you're
weird.
you're there,
So,
you're uproot, especially if you're like an 18, 19-year-old kid. You come and sell your mom and dad on it, and you're like, yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get some reps. I'm going to get some reps at tight end at LSU. And then the week
the coach is like, I
you're
believe
about
in
to
you,
kick off,
and
then the coach is like, hey, by the way, all right, so hear me out. We didn't think
what if
we didn't think this NFL player was gonna, you know what I mean? It was like he was on our list, our 5, like hall pass list. It was a hall pass list.
Right. It was weird.
You can't be mad. You can't be mad if it was like, hey, I love tight ends. You're a great tight end, but I didn't know that tight end would be available. Don't worry, it's no feelings, just wins. It's a mess. It's so interesting because it's capitalism unleashed, right? Where it's just go where your services are provided or wanted with no hindrance whatsoever.
Yeah, no guardrails, no consequences
None.
for choices. I get like players want to maximize their value and get all the money they can and still play a game. Like I get that, but then like now we're just erasing the line between professional and amateur sports.
100%. 100%.
So
there is no amateur. It's not an amateur sport.
Right. Again, I know, and I know the NIL argument like blurred that line, but now we're just saying it doesn't even matter. We're just gonna.
Yeah, we're blowing through it. Yeah, that's
Right.
not even. But then was it Ezra Christensen, Cleveland, the lineman, defensive lineman who Colorado was really banking on to come in and contribute, can't play for whatever. Like,
again, it's just
my man
it's the Wild West.
left a preseason game on Saturday to sign a letter of intent on Sunday. A letter of intent, I like the backwards. Like what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, man. So you're gonna lead the
I'm
NFL
excited.
playing the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
But you know what? I blame the NCAA, man. If they would have handled their business in some way, shape, or form, it's a little bit like being mad at slaves for revolting. It's a little out there, but go with me for a second.
Okay.
Like you had an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We messed this up. We hear the calls for it. There's already some precedent being set legally about image, name, likeness, right? Like instead of making them fight for every inch, what if we just give a foot and then, hey, like we're good? That would have felt so drastic to players. That would have probably left it at least for a good chunk of time. But we know the NCAA, they don't, it's probably the worst run entity. Oh, I don't know. FIFA's terrible too.
There's a long list there.
Isn't it crazy where it's like where like that gluttonous of money meets amateurism is and pro sports is just, it ruins it, and it ruins the sanctity of it. And like, I will enjoy the college season. Last season was enjoyable. We didn't mean to go on this run, so hopefully you all are here. We'll get to Nuggets and Broncos here in a minute, but
right.
You and I are cut from similar cloth in the sense like we love understanding the roster, the developments, like the effort in the administration part and the operations piece about personnel. And now it's like there's no magic to the sauce, right? There's no networking with your recruiting areas and developing a relationship with coaches. And it's just really like, do you have money in the bag? And if you don't, right, like it's a 40% upheaval every year of your roster. It's hard to fall in love with your school anymore because you're like, I don't, and you watch guys at the spring game that aren't there when week one comes, And so I think that there are some slight changes they can make to steady it. I think there are drastic ones that might get made. And in the end, it's really just the conferences are the ones that are going to have to step in because the NCAA is gross. I mean, right, they didn't do anything. And then finally the SEC, the Big Ten, et cetera, like, right, no more.
Yeah.
No more.
This is why I was calling again. I was acting a fool on Twitter like Monday, I think. But like this is why I was calling on the conferences to step in because they're the ones that have like the governing power to punish these schools for doing it because you're going to have coaches like Lane Kiffin and seemingly all of LSU's athletic department that are just going to do this. They're just going to do whatever they want and no consequences. So, and have a disregard for what is right and what's wrong. So,
yeah, and I saw a couple things where it's like, it makes sense too, of someone is going to skew that line. Are you mad at the team that skews the line and is like, hey, you know what? This thing sucks, but we're going to be better at it than other people. I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at the like you hit on the head, right? Where it's like, look at your coach hirings and tell me that there's ethical, like, you're not picking like good humans to coach.
It's back to back for LSU. LSU hired Brian Kelly and then is now hiring, and then hired Will Wade and then hired Kim Mularkey and then hired Lane Kiffin. I mean, this is a pattern now. So anyway, actually, JT has a different take on this, and I want to hear it. So if his internet is working.
We'll see if it's working. Let me know.
Okay.
It looks better. I agree to an extent with what y'all are saying, and I think that it becomes so convoluted. Like when you decide to start paying players, which I think they should have done. I think the issue is the guardrail. Just not enough guardrails right now at the end of the day, and I think that that's something they're going to have to really sit down and pound out. Right now, it's the developmental league for the NFL. It's essentially an entertainment league. You're paying guys to transfer from smaller schools so that you can be the most dominant team. I'm not saying that it's good practice necessarily. I'm just saying, the rules they offer required to go back to school. That's his best option. As a guy, as someone who wants to continue to play football, that's the chance you have to make the most money. Why should we deny with the current, the way that it's set up currently? Like, why is it such a bad thing? Now, should he be eligible to be drafted again? No, I don't necessarily think.
He's not going to be. Like Goodell came out today and said these guys are going to be treated as free agents. They've already gone through the draft process, so they are free agents.
And so I'm not saying that I necessarily agree.
Yeah, you can't declare yourself eligible for the draft. You don't like how it turned out, so you go back. You go back, take a Red Rocks Community College course. You're like, I'm trying this again. Let me up my stock.
That's another interesting point, and I don't hear anybody talking about this. Like, how are these guys going to enroll in college? Like, are they? You have to take classes in college, and you have to be working towards a degree. And I've heard no discussion about classes started for these colleges weeks ago, and they have an enrollment period lasting, I think, a couple weeks. But these guys technically have not been cut yet, so they're still on NFL rosters. And so, I think
Daquan Wright did because he cleared waivers. That's how he was able to.
Okay, but
officially,
the defensive lineman has not. So
no, and right. They're not going to school.
I don't disagree. But even Lenore's salary.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even. 100%. I don't know how they're doing it because I think it's gotten so out of whack. Like, are they even monitoring that? Do you submit eligible? Like, are we just like YOLO?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, a lot of this stuff is, and again, it's JT. Your point is well founded because like the lack of guardrails is what is screwing this sport right now.
Sure.
Is again, like we're trying to figure out like guardrails on the fly, and it's hurting everybody. Like, so.
Yeah, I hope we get the handle on it so it doesn't like decimate the love for college sports outside of the Big Ten and SEC, even like part of the Big Ten. Like I bet Rutgers isn't enjoying. Like I don't know, Vandy, things like. I mean, there's just like that sense of it's fun for me to watch those teams play because it is like the playoff last year was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. That is a collection probably of the best talent for the most part across the country. That's great from a viewer perspective. For a professional league, that's what I want. For an amateur league where you love the school, like you and I have kind of adopted schools because we just all of the reasons, and it's like like I am losing a full no cap, as the kids say, I'm a Florida State fan, have been so since 1989. I watched since 1988, watched Deion Sanders high step down the sideline when I was 5, and I was just like, that's the dude. I was a Florida State fan ever since. And I am losing like the love for the program because it's like, what, who and why and how? And, like there's no, rooting for a kid's development and like, being like, we took a risk on him. We 5 and 6 one year. And then, that kid blew up and like, you're like proud of the program for like being that thing. And then the pressure to win every year, you got to go you got to recoup someone's project or steal a kid from Tulane, right? Like, dear goodness gracious. But here we are, and at least both of your schools are financed well and are operating well within the transfer portal system.
Yep.
Florida State is going to end up closer to CU than Miami here soon. And that's just what happens when you don't have the mega boosters. There's a separation and, there's the $20 million NIL, like, but stop it. So your quarterbacks make $8 million.
We can have a deeper discussion about what went wrong at Florida State. But yeah, let's move on to like the Nuggets, like another kind of train wreck.
Yeah. All right. So the Denver, don't call me chicken nuggets, made an interesting set of deals right after the show last week, which I knew was going to happen. That's why I wasn't here last week, because I was like, watch this, set these suckers up, losers.
Appreciate it.
So, Peyton Watson was traded. Max Strus does not come back to the Nuggets, goes elsewhere, part of a 14 deal in the end?
It was like 6 teams. It was crazy.
6 teams? Yeah. With some like nickels going somewhere.
Yeah, like second-round picks for making the contracts work. Yeah.
But in essence, the Nuggets got a first and a second down the road, 2031 and 32.
Mm-hmm.
First round and the second round to follow. No player coming back. Did get a trade exception, if I recall, which you can't use if you're in the second apron anyway. Yep. So here we are. However, they get DeMar, king of the mid-range, DeRozan, to fill that spot. Hopefully, elevate the second team. We haven't really talked about it, but I'd love to hear how you boys feel about the cascade of events. One, like your feelings about it, and two, like understanding the complexities of the second apron. Did they move as well as they could have? So just kind of your operational take. What's your fan take?
All right, JT, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd bring Peyton Watson back. Obviously, that at some point they had all decided that wasn't going to happen. The money was probably not in the right spot, and so by locking yourself up with Christian Braun last season, you've kind of closed the door on your ability to bring Watson back at the number that he felt like he was valuable at. It's a shame to see him go. I do think he has some upside and potential. What that is at the end of the day, I guess, remains to be seen. But he's the type of player that the Nuggets need and needed. And that, I think, is the hardest thing. They needed athleticism. They needed a young guy that has some promise, that looks like he can develop into a number 2, number 3 option down the road. And Peyton had that. So it was difficult to see him go. They've been talking about wanting to get a first-round draft pick. They were able to do that. They didn't get any players of note. So first and second-round draft pick is good compensation, not great compensation for a guy like Peyton Watson. Do I wish they got someone else in the deal? Potentially, yeah. I think that, this just basically sets them up to make either a trade to shed cap at some point or a trade at the deadline to bring in talent. And I think that that's all it really does for the Knicks right now. So it does give them a little bit of flexibility, but it's not. It's still pretty poor. When it comes down to it. And then the addition of DeMar DeRozan, I'm a fan. I like DeMar DeRozan. I think he score. You lose Tim Hardaway Jr. It's important to replace him with someone, and I think that he is a good replacement for that. It's a guy that knows how to win.
Well, I am going to just poo-poo all over this deal. Our best player.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, our best player is, 32, 33 now? I mean, Jokic is getting, into the last couple of years of his prime, and this trade helps maximize none of those years.
Wait,
so
you mean the pick 5 years out is
right? And again, like I saw something that like the Broncos will have the new stadium before these picks actually come to fruition. Unbelievable! Like, and the fact that like Peyton Watson got like an average of like $22 million a year, which is way less than what we all thought he was going to get. That is, again, it's a steal for Cleveland. Like, it's an absolute steal for Cleveland, and we got screwed because you're not maximizing your window. It's the same with the DeMar DeRozan trade. This smells more like Chris Bryant to the Rockies than it does, actually making a meaningful move that makes the needle move. As good a player, DeMar DeRozan is a good player, no question about it. But he doesn't help your three-point shooting. He's a pretty average defender. He's not a great defender. Like, he could be a scoring option off the bench, but again, like, you still are not – like, you're still relying on Jamal Murray to be your shooter, Christian Brown to be your shooter, Nikola Jokic to be your shooter, and that's kind of a step too far for me to have these guys kind of be in and being like, oh, we need, a knockdown shooter. Well, we're going to kick it to the corner to DeMar DeRozan. I'm like, that's not going to turn out well. I mean, we can all see this coming. So again, these are both very poor moves in my opinion. And it brings me back to the Dan Issel quote earlier in the offseason where he said the Cronkies are notoriously cheap and they've gone into the second apron, but they have no intention of going any further or B, staying there. I would bet you at the trade deadline they're going to dump Cam Johnson for anything. And then they won't be in the second apron, and that's their goal. Yep. And that is horrendously disappointing as a fan. So
yeah, I mean if that's what they're especially just because, if you can wait till the end of the season, you're off that cap hit anyways. So
yeah.
I'll push back a little bit. I do think, DeMar DeRozan is going to be a meaningful piece on this team. Now, does it put you in a tier where you're going to be a contender at the end of the day? I'm not sure about that. But you are replacing the loss of Tim Hardaway with someone who's a capable scorer, maybe an older guy. But he does do some things with the ball in his hand that I think that is something that they don't have, especially in that second unit. So, if his job is to come in and buoy the second unit and play a few minutes with Yoke and the starters, I think that's going to be a good addition still, especially for the cost. But I can understand what people are upset about the trade. I think that it does set them up to potentially not have to make a trade like Chris was mentioning for Cam Johnson, just because you do have assets now that you can tie to someone like a Zeke Naji or to a Christian Brown if you wanted to really try and offload someone. But, like you said, and we've been saying that for a long time too, Chris, and Doc too, was just like, the Cronkies are not going to want to stay above the apron. They're not going to pay for it. And so the fans just kind of have to sit back and see what happens. And it's a bad place to be in, especially with Jokic not inked up for the next 5 years.
Yep. Yeah. Again, I will push back on your pushback, but like I know DeMar DeRozan is going to be a meaningful part of that team. That is a problem for me. So sure. I mean, like he was with the Kings last year, and they were terrible. Yep. And he's been with the Bulls, and they've been terrible. So it's not, this is not like a veteran that we signed off, the Knicks or the Thunder. Like he's not Lou Dort coming in to play a specific role and knows how to win and will help these young players develop. So. And again, I'm trying not to crap on DeMar DeRozan because he's a really good basketball player and has had a wonderful career. But he does not move the needle for me in terms of getting back and competing with the Spurs and the Thunder.
That's so.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good. You guys were just the DeMar hate. I can't. I'm gonna tell him that you guys all said all that stuff.
DeMar, I apologize, but
I agree with you. I think if you look at the moves individually, right, like the bring in DeMar DeRozan at under $4 million is a hell of a move, in my opinion. It lifts up the second unit, but he does bring durability. So he's missed 27 games over the last 5 seasons. Watson missed 28 games plus the first round last year by itself. And so it's a little bit of, that's great. His professionalism, he's strong with the ball. It's a quality scorer. That's all great. It doesn't address some of the things that they weren't good at, though. He is not a good defender, which they needed. He is not overly athletic at this stage of his career, which they needed. And so you have outgoing Peyton Watson, who is all of those things. And you bring in DeMar DeRozan, who is not those things. And so it really was a Band-Aid move in and of itself. If you brought back Peyton Watson and added DeMar DeRozan, holy freaking slam dunk. Holy phenomenal. Sure. The issue for me isn't even trading Peyton Watson, because finding out that he mailed it in the first round, his choice or not his choice, I think was probably the nail. I don't know that I would have wanted it back.
Sure.
If I'm Jokic on the, like, I'd probably like, I don't want to see that guy. I get why you do it. You know what, from your perspective, and it was a smart move. He made 5 times what he made last season annually. And so you do that thing 100 days, but it burns. Not making a deal, not getting something that can help your basketball team tomorrow is just like, why did you hold on so long? I know you're trying to squeeze that, but it was so sour, or you knew that you weren't going to bring it back. Like, why? It just was a bad process, bad look, bad execution, not enough in return. And so unless they're able to parlay that first round pick and Zeke Naji into a meaningful piece or something, this offseason was just wasn't enough. And I think we all know what's in the balance, and they absolutely will dump salary at the deadline if this team isn't, and for some reason, like the first seed or what have you. So it hurts. Not gonna lie, it hurts. But I want to like it because I want to be a fan or something.
I'm still going to root for them, but man, I mean, they're making it tough. So they're making it tough.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. It is tough, and it's something that we'll just continue to monitor. I think that the Nuggets will be competitive this year, at least in the regular season. Yeah. For what that is. So obviously we're rooting for the team. There's some upside if they can be healthy. They could put themselves in a good position going into the playoffs, but ultimately, do they have enough to actually compete? It seems. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Why don't we move on to the real team in Denver, the one who might actually compete for a championship this year?
Let's go.
Your Denver Broncos. Did you watch the game? What'd you think of the Packer game? So let's start there.
I did watch the game, and I hated it. Outside of seeing I know. Outside of seeing Bonex come out and operate the first team offense, there wasn't a ton of there are guys here and there that popped, and we'll get into those a little bit. But on the whole, it worries me a little bit. After that Falcons game, come out and say, all right, our depth can go up against anyone in this league, and then you play a team that is a competitive team that'll presumably be a contender, and you just don't show up. And I don't know what that says about this team. And ultimately, it's preseason. Maybe it says nothing about the team. Maybe it says, you just, maybe you guys were overhyped. Maybe you guys weren't prepared enough. Maybe it's a culmination of things going on. But I would have loved to see a little more fight from the depth guys at the end of the day. But again, first team offense at least looked good. First team defense needs to step it up a little bit moving forward. But I think that we all feel pretty confident that they're going to be a good unit.
Yeah, I think, again, the first team offense and defense went toe-to-toe with the Packers, and the Packers are presumably going to be a contender in the NFC. So that was good to see. The penalties, the amount of penalties was not great. I think
that's something we talked about first game too.
Yeah, again, these themes keep showing up, and that is a problem where you have 10 penalties for 71 yards in this game, and then I think you had 9 penalties in the Atlanta game, and it was just they're just kind of again repeating these mistakes, and you even saw it on the second touchdown drive for the Packers. Is the defense had stops on 2 third downs, and those penalties kept those drives going, and you ended up paying for it. So, and you can't have that.
Yeah, no, it's preseason, so I'm trying not to overreact, But I think we've been out of football mode for so long. We're getting football again, and we just want our team to win. And they go out and kind of lay an egg. It's like, man, like it kills the vibes for sure. But I'm finding myself in a little bit of a midway point. We can get into let's get into the game a little bit more. But kind of my biggest worry, I think, right now, and maybe not my biggest worry, but one of my bigger worries is this defensive line rotation. And I think that there's a lot of guys that are good in it. Obviously, Zach Allen's going to hold it down at end. Roach is going to be in the middle for the most part. He's good at putting pressure on the opposing quarterback and being a disruptor. But kind of outside of that, I'm a little worried about who is going to start and if they're going to be impactful rushing the passer at all. I think that there are a lot of guys that have some upside. I think there's some guys who have had some nice camps, but they've yet to show it in a game situation, and that makes me worry a little bit. I think moving on from John Franklin Myers it might have a bigger impact than we are kind of thinking right now. JFM played 500 plus snaps for us last year. It was really productive. And I think it's hard to replace that with multiple guys. If you don't have one guy that can kind of step in and take the bulk of those reps, then having multiple guys do that is probably even more difficult. And so I think, do we like the young rotation? Do we like some of the young guys in there? But yeah, for sure. But I don't know if it's going to come to fruition this year. And that makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I think the biggest, outside of the penalties, I think my biggest concern was the fact the running game, again, did not show up for the offense. They were very middling, I would say. And I can't tell if this is a RJ Harvey problem, if this is a run blocking and scheme problem. I'm really having a hard time determining. And we haven't seen J.K. Dobbins yet, so obviously that his presence will change things. Sure. But even in that first game, you saw Jonah Coleman be explosive, and in this game you didn't. So, right. I'm just a little concerned about the run game. If you want to be, and I was asked this on Bronco Bros on Monday night, is this offense capable of being a top 5 offense? And my answer was no, unless the running game comes along with the progression that the passing game has. If you don't have that balance, I don't think there's a chance of you guys being a top 5 offense, which again is not going to dash your Super Bowl run hopes, but it is one thing that you make it easier on a defense to prepare for you if you're not balanced enough to figure that out. So
yeah, for sure, and I agree with that. It's not in a great place still. Maybe inserting Dobbins in there, and I assume that it will improve that room, improve how the running game looks. But they've got to get away from these penalties that are killing drives. It seems like first down has been really bad in the preseason for whatever reason. I think part of it's trying to establish run early. Maybe it's because it's base offense and it's a little predictable. Teams are more easily able to kind of stop things in their tracks. Maybe when we get to the regular season, the scheming will be a little bit better. But first down is either no gain or a loss, or we're getting a penalty, we're getting behind the sticks, and it's hard to come back from. And so that makes it really tough to kind of assess where that room is right now too.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, before we get too far into our boom bust players and that kind of thing, why don't we read some ads? Does that sound good? All right. If you're unaware, Orange and Blue Network is where you can find all of our content. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the Gram, wherever you get your social media is where we will be at the Orange and Blue Network. So feed the algorithm, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I put all those words together because should like a square subscribe is way easier to say than all those things. So, and if you are subscribed on YouTube, do not forget that we are giving away a Nick Benito signed mini helmet. It is wonderfully provided for us by Bruce Timmons, and we really appreciate him making that donation. But when we get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, we will be giving this away. But make sure your profile is public, otherwise we will not be able to notify you.
Yep.
Let's give a shout out to Dubby. This is Nick's favorite sponsor. We all need caffeine, so Dubby is a very clean way to do it. There's no sugar, no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. If you don't know what it is and you can't pronounce it, don't put it in your body. So, and if you need some help, OB10 at checkout will get you 10% off your order. So, our second sponsor is Lily's Beauty Salon. If you need that glow up for a game day or for an interview or a wedding or what have you, Lily's is the place to go. It's by appointment only in Thornton. You can contact her at the number below. She is open Wednesday through Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So hit up Lily's if you need that. Our schedule going forward is the Orange and Blue Network. So you have multitude of different shows. You have Orange and Blue Bits on Mondays and Fridays. You got the Bronco Bros on Monday evenings. You've got Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. You've got us on Wednesdays. You got the Wild Wild West, which is a new one on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, you have the Mile High Outcast. You have Viva Los Broncos on Fridays, our Spanish-speaking show, which I think is awesome that we have that kind of
for sure
club in our bag. And every day before game day, we have Get Bucked, which is our pregame show, the Bucking Booth, which is our live watch show during the game, and then after every game day, it's Buck Your Feelings. So tune in, and it'll be a good time had by all. And we even have a new website. Check it out, orangeandbluenetwork.com, which is actually what we're going to be using later in the show to build our rosters. So go on there, give it a look. We're going to have blogs by the three of us, I'm sure. Roster building tools and just any kind of Bronco news will be on that website. Nick, welcome back, brother.
Be back.
You got to not mute yourself, but hey, we're happy you're here.
I didn't mute me. One of you sons of gunsies. Yeah, I had a rock go through my back window, and the glass people are here to fix it. They don't have a window to fix it, so be rocking around with the duct tape still.
Oh, they don't have the right thing.
Just do thing. Yeah, no, yeah.
All right.
The right window.
Seems
It's what it is.
Their job.
All right.
I
mean, I've heard it's important.
Yeah.
Seems like it should be.
We are getting into kind of our boom bust picks for the Packer game. So I'm going to lead off with JT because I've been speaking for a while. So JT.
Yeah.
Get it.
I didn't find very much to take away from this game. So I've been known to be the negative Nancy of this podcast. So I'm just going to continue down that road. It was nice to see Bo Nix come out and, put together a couple drives, look good doing so, look comfortable behind center or under center. His ankle looks fine. I think I think we all kind of felt that was the case, but it was nice to see it. So I'm giving my boom to Bo Nix. Bus, I'm going to go quarterbacks not named Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham, Sam Ehlinger. I'm not sure that there's a guy that's going to win you many games behind Bo Nix. And so that does worry me a bit. Hopefully Bo will be healthy. It will be a non-factor. But it wasn't last year. And so you've got to think about that. Are these the two guys that you feel comfortable rolling into the season with? I suppose we will see, but it seems like one of them will be the guy. But then they're going to have to need to bring more to the table. Stidham looks a little more consistent than Ehlinger, but numbers were underwhelming. I think there's a turnover by Stiddy in the game. They just got to be cleaner. It's got to look better. The execution has to look better from our depth guys in general. And then Singleton, I'm very 50-50. I'm very hot cold with him. There are things that I really like about his game. When he's coming downhill, he is a lot of fun. He is a disruptor in the backfield if he can get in there and get his nose dirty. But in coverage, it's just he seems to be a liability at times. That pass to the running back on the first drive of the game, he's standing back in the end zone. I don't know what he's doing. That whole middle of the field's wide open. Potentially a scheme thing. Maybe he's where he's supposed to be, but he doesn't have the athleticism or the recoverability to go make that play, unfortunately. So I'm going to ding him right now. It does make me worry a little bit moving into the season that linebacker room is where it's at, especially with the starters. Some young guys have potential to kind of crack that at some point. We'll see what, and health is a big thing. We'll see if those guys get opportunities, but still kind of a big concern up the middle of that defense for me.
Yeah, I just want to provide a little bit of context on that touchdown play. I think Singleton called an audible, and I don't think DeAndre Tillman heard it. So Tillman was still in man coverage, but Singleton dropped into his zone. So I think there was a miscommunication there. But again, he's wearing the green dot, so that's kind of on him. So I get what you're saying, though. All right.
Yeah. He also dropped like 3 yards deep.
Yeah, he dropped away.
No question. Like,
it was
again, pass coverage is not his
But
bad.
in the end, we don't know who and what. But it wasn't great.
Okay. All right. Let's go to my boomer bus. So my booms were RJ Harvey in the passing game and Kolbe Katsis. RJ Harvey, I think, is going to play a big-time role in the passing game for this team. It was really nice. I liked the play call on the first touchdown pass from Bo Nix on a wheel route to RJ Harvey. So I think it's nice to see him catch the ball and be a playmaker in the passing game. I know I'm kind of killing him for what he's not doing in the running game, but he at least is providing a weapon in the passing game. So that's good to see rather than providing a net zero. Kolbe Katsis, I thought, had a couple nice returns in this game, so that was good to see. Here's the thing, though, is I think Kolbe Katsis played well, but I think the fact that he did not play a single wide receiver snap means that Marvin Mims is going to be on this team. I know we've talked about it, and I've seen some other Discord on the other shows about maybe trading Marvin Mims. I don't see it because I think you have an all-pro return guy and you have a wide receiver who can do wide receiver things. So he doesn't limit you in one or the other. So whereas Kolbe Katsis is a really good return person, but he's not very polished as a receiver, so you can't rely on him to go into the slot and run a whip route. So, but big ups to Kolbe Katsis. I think this one solidified his spot on the practice squad. I would expect him to be on the practice squad this year. So, bus, and it comes with my banner. It's like, where are my rookie tight ends at? What are you all doing? Like, Justin Joly and Dallen Bentley. Dallen Bentley, I don't even think played. So, and if he did, it was late in the fourth quarter. Justin Joly played a little bit midway through the fourth quarter, but they are running behind not only Troutman and Ingram, but also like Lucas Krull, Nate Atkins. Like, they are running 5th and 16, which is a horrible sign for their trajectory this year. So they're going to provide probably not a thing this year unless there's a massive plague at our tight end room. So, and that'll be a problem. So Justin Joly, I think he's probably got the most potential of the two. I expect Dallen Bentley just to be, thank you for your service. We'll see you when we see you. But Justin Joly may make the team, but we'll talk about that more when we get to the 53. But it was disappointing to say the least. So. Nick, do you have
Well, I think you hit quite a few on the head. Nice job, boys. Let's go get mine, because that would be fun. So, where are you? Where are you, little fella? So, who be booming? Business is booming for Riley and Pat Surtain. I thought they looked really great. I know Riley had 2 snaps, but those are pretty damn impressive 2 snaps. You got a PBU and then what was, in my opinion, a fumble recovery caused by Pat Surtain. So I think those guys look in midseason form. And Riley, it sounds like he's going to escape any major injury for some ribs. If you've had any hurt ribs before, sucks. Broke my ribs a couple years ago. Terrible. Learned a lot of the empathy for athletes. So I was always like, bro, just get a shot and put on a flak jacket.
Yeah.
I got humbled real quick. So I'll never say that again. And I'm just a dad. So busts, discipline, holy penalties, Batman. Stop me if you've heard this story before. For as good, and they have really smart players. Like during the play, oftentimes they're doing the right things, but for some reason, not all of them, and not all the time. So it's not even a guy or two, or it's McGlinchey, who is a genius. Like he's genius level smart gentleman. He's not dumb, yet for some reason he can't not false start. And then finally, the run game. It is not where I would like it to be. I think they have the backs to make this a good running offense. Mind you, J.K. Dobbins, who is the best running back in the room, has not played yet. So with that caveat, but nonetheless, it hasn't looked as dominant as we hope. It may be. Maybe we overhyped them. So I'm hoping that comes back to earth, but really looking forward to those guys showed up a little bit better on Friday, even though I don't think a lot of starters are going to play. I just got word that Bo Nix will not play on Friday. Assume if Bo's not going to play, there's probably a few other folks that won't play. And you know what? Good. Good.
Let me ask you this question. Who has to, since we're going to talk about roster building here in a minute, who has to boom in order to make a roster spot? Who are we? We have 1 or 2 names that we want to throw out that need to boom in order to make a roster spot.
And like a realistic roster spot?
Yeah, like they're going to make the 53 if they have a decent game. I got one if you guys want to think about it.
I think give us your one.
Yeah, so Frank Crum and Matt Pert, I think they're going to battle out for the last kind of offensive line spot. I mean, it's going to be between 9 and 10 offensive linemen that are going to be kept on this team. So I think you're getting down to if Frank Crum has a below average game and Matt Pert shows pretty well, I think you're going to see Matt Pert on the roster and vice versa. So
I don't think Crum's going to play Friday.
Then never mind. His roster spot is probably guaranteed then. But kind of in that, vein, I mean, I think it Pert. Maybe I think it's sealed because I think they really like Tyler Miller, but probably will get him in on the practice. We'll talk about it in a minute. But I think the Pert experiment, I mean, he got demolished in his time at playing left guard against the Jets, I think, right? Like he was just getting worked. Yeah, I know he's not popular, but I'm saying that that's,
Yeah, he's a guy that I think could make them feel a different thing or two. Any of the tight ends.
Yeah.
If any of them have a good game, maybe that raises some choices. I think the inside linebacker group.
That's a good one.
I think there's still a lot. I don't know how much separates York from Turner to Murdoch to Reed. I don't know how much separation.
I don't think York's going to
3 to 6. I don't know either, but I think if he goes and he is a shed and block demon and has a couple PBUs, does it make you think different? Because those are areas that you are a little bit questionable. But I think that there's a couple guys that can earn some of those thoughts. I think a lot of guys are playing for the practice squad. It's a really cool place to be where your team is known deep, and whether or not there's not a lot of spots up for grabs. It sucks a little bit for the guys that are up for grabs. I do think that there are guys that are playing to get traded. Throw a couple names out, and then we'll do the 53. But I think Savion Jones is a guy who, if he wants to play in the next 3 years, probably will need to go somewhere else. Taylor Onyedem has passed him by. Jordan Jackson is a good football player. Sounds like Christian Williams has been really, really good. Yeah. You can only keep so many guys. A 3rd round pick from last year probably isn't going to make it to the practice squad. So you try and get, a 4th or a 5th for a guy who may or may not make it. But some guys like that I think would probably rather be on someone's 53 than go through waivers. So maybe a few of those guys have really good games. You can parlay them into a deal. But I don't think there's many. So
JT, you got a name for us?
Since it's kind of hard right now. I think that there's some guys that are kind of deep on the receiver in the receiver room that may need to show a little bit. I think, like you said, Kolbe Katsis has looked pretty good. Joseph Manjack has looked pretty good. Bandy's still in the mix there. I think those guys. I don't know if Bandy's healthy.
He's not.
He's not. Okay. But some of those kind of end of the wide receiver room guys they've got an uphill battle for sure. It's a tough room this year. And like you said, Chris, I think some of the depth offensive line is interesting to kind of keep an eye on. I think there's guys that we're penciling in and will likely make the team. But that second group did not look particularly good at all in the last couple games, and there were a lot of penalties and a lot of blown coverage or protections. So remains to be seen, but I think we'll definitely get into that a little bit more when we're doing this roster construction because we get to make the choice.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, let's do it.
Oh, I did want to say Drew Sanders maybe also. I forgot about that one. Drew Sanders is he's a very big question mark for me. I think that a lot of people presume he might make the team, and I think there's a chance he may not.
Yep.
What would make anyone think that he would make it? He hasn't played football. Can't
stay healthy. Maybe that's why.
There's no market for him. Like I was a Drew stan. I thought he was going to come in and ball, and a jack of some trades and a master of not being on the. Like I feel bad for the guy. He's built like Tarzan. And it's just like one thing after another. Like that guy was built to play football and may just never get to actualize that dream or that opportunity. And that just by things outside of his control. It's not like he's walking around trying to get hurt. So that sucks, but it's just, I think that this is the year probably where that experiment goes to die. You gotta move on and maybe he regains it from somewhere else. But the Broncos are way too deep to spare feelings, when you're playing for a championship.
Especially at outside linebacker,
especially
which is where he would try and play. Like moving in to the inside would be a disaster. So,
but even that he hasn't really developed to there. Yeah, so he's really a developmental project. He's all tools. He's not better than Jonah. He's not better than Tillman. So bring him in as a 5th, but is he better than Johnny Walker, who was a demon in the SEC? Physically, but. Yeah, I mean, you got Q Robinson. Those are guys that are going to get snaps, and he ain't it. So,
I have before we move on, I have a Taylor Rapp update, just so y'all know. Yeah. Before the show started, we all talked about how Taylor Rapp got cut. Well, apparently, according to Denver Sports 104.3, I think that's the fan, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Taylor Rapp is dealing with some personal issues, and could be back with the Broncos despite being cut.
That's good that makes way more sense about the random weirdness of you sign a guy
last week and then cut him. Yep.
Last week in a position that you probably need him, and then you cut him before the cut day, before he's even practiced. I don't think he's got out there. So makes sense.
Alrighty, let's do this roster thing. Let me know if you cannot see this. So everybody good? We can see what I'm looking at. The 2000. Okay. Excellent. So this is on the orangeandbluenetwork.com. So go look at it because it's going to be awesome. So building this roster, I think we can do something really quickly and kind of knock the kicker, punter, and long snapper out. What do you all think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. Will Lutz is going to be your kicker. Crawshaw is going to be your punter, and Fraboni is going to be your long snapper.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Easy.
All right, quarterbacks.
That's 3 of them.
Yeah. I've heard this Bo Nix guy is pretty good. What do we think?
I've heard he's pretty good.
Lock it.
Yep. And Jarrett Stidham, I think, is probably going to be the number 2 guy.
I agree.
I would agree.
Yeah. So as much as we don't like it, it was interesting to watch the Packers backups play because I really liked the way Tyrod Taylor and Kyle McCord played. So if there was a potential move there, I would not hesitate if it were me.
Yep.
So
agree, but for some reason I think Peyton likes his dudes. So
I expect Sam Ehlinger to be on the practice squad. So here's the third quarterback. Okay, moving on to running back, J.K. Dobbins. What do we think? Yep.
Lock.
I think this R.J. Harvey guy is probably a lock.
Mm-hmm. Jonah.
I don't know. You say his name too many times, all of a sudden Jay Weaver pops up. So.
It's like Candyman.
Yep, exactly right. Adam Prentice, I think, is going to be your fullback.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other running backs that may make the team?
I think Joly might.
I think he might. I think he's on that bubble. That was one of the struggles for me is the fact that I think Jalil's had a really good preseason.
I agree. And he's got a burst to him, man. That they really don't have outside of him. RJ's got some different, but north and south, Jalil gets there faster than anyone else on the team. So
agreed. Do we want to put him on the roster? Or we want to leave him off?
No, let's bubble him real quick
let's bubble him.
Okay, you're on the bubble. All right, wide receiver once again. That Jalen Waddle guy, pretty good. Cortland Sutton, also pretty good. Pat Bryant, also pretty good. And Mimsy, yes.
Mims.
And I think Troy Franklin's probably going to make it.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Really?
I mean, Little Jordan, I think, is
I think Little Jordan.
Your binky. I think
I think he's a lock to make it, honestly.
I don't, because I think he has a relationship with Peyton where he would choose to come back and do the whole shuttle thing for a little bit, knowing that there's going to be injuries and that he's going to play the first 3 games and get full paycheck. So I think because of that, I think him and Sam Ehlinger are like 2 guys that would go to the practice squad knowing that they will be Broncos. That they're a part of the team and get paid the same. But I think he will be a Bronco. He'll be an active Bronco, however way we slice it. His camp has been really good. His in-game performances have been good. He's lost some weight. He looks a little bit more agile and hostile,
mobile.
And I like it, And I think he also heard all the Pat Bryant love, and he's blocking. And why do you need a Little Jordan? And I think he's like, all right, well, let me reinvent myself. So it's pretty cool to see whether or not he makes it or not. Good for him, but I expect him to be a Bronco some way, shape, or form.
All right. Do you want to put him on here or no?
Let's put him on, and then we'll kick him off if we get to a place where we think.
Sounds right. All right, tight ends. Here comes the first interesting one. I think we're for sure Evan Ingram is going to be on here. Please don't do that.
Yep. I think Evan, Troutman, Joly are locks.
Really? See, that's the funny thing is. Okay, Mouse, you need to stop.
What's going on with your mouse, bro?
My mouse is screwing up. Hold on. What the jeez? What is going on? Good podcasting. Hold on 1 second.
Yep. Yeah. Do you got a Mac, Chris?
No. This is a
just
a very old Dell with a garbage mouse. So okay. All right, now we're better. Okay, so you say Justin Joly is a lock. I agree with you. What the? Please stop. For the love of Christ, please stop. So,
I only think so because of I think finding tight ends. I think good tight ends are hard to find right now, and so 5th round pick. I just think he would get claimed, so I think that they'll hold on to him.
Although I don't think he has done anything to warrant a roster spot, but I get.
I don't think so either. It's a forecasting hold. It's definitely not he's going to contribute hold. Because I think Nate Atkins is a better player. I think Lucas Kroll is a better player. I think Caleb Loader starts on the IR because he is hurt, and so why have him come in when he's also?
Do we keep one more, or are we leaving it at 3? Because I originally had Kroll making it over Atkins.
I would probably do Atkins over Kroll just because I think you can use Atkins out of the backfield a little bit.
Okay. It was just interesting to me that like Kroll was the first one to replace Adam Troutman. So
yeah, that is.
Well, he started the first 3 games of last year. He was the starting Y for the Broncos. So I think your observation is I think the blocking prowess though is why Atkins would be there. His ability to play H-back and some things like that. So that's who I would pick. But I think Kroll hopefully would be the guy that would hang around. But maybe not. Tackles. The GB zone for sure.
We got a little bit of Mike McGlinchey as your starters. I think Pelcheski just got signed, right?
Yep.
So probably him.
I think Craig Crum. They love where Crummy's at.
I think so.
I think the other guys are no.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt Pert makes the team. And I think Tyler Miller and Holsky probably doesn't make practice squad, but I know Tyler Miller will.
Okay.
Quinnies. Yep.
Guards, Meinertz, and Mr. Powers.
Yeah.
We're going to make it.
I don't think either of these 2 guys do.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Cage Casey is going to be your backup
100%
guard.
He's
so.
And he's looked great. I am going to pound my chest. I was a Cage Casey fan. He was one of my dudes, and they're really excited about his development. And so it makes me feel really good about that just because I like the trenches. That's where games are won.
All right.
We saw what happens when you don't have good centers. So I think Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsyth are on the squizzy. Michael Dieter snapped his leg in half, so he's probably not making it. I think Gavin Ortega is a guy that is a really good lineman, not a good center.
Yeah.
But I could see him being their 9th guy, or where are we
This is 9 already. Yep.
I would think that they stay there.
At 9.
I think the other guys will make the practice squad. A guy like Pert or Throckmorton, if they don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my thought. So I think we leave it at 9.
I think you're right. Okay. Defensive line. I think this Zach Allen character is usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think DJ Jones is probably going to make it as a defensive tackle. You got your Malcolm Roach in here as well. I think Oneidem probably makes it just because I think he's been pretty good too.
On what? What was that? One more time.
Oneidem? Is that it?
Oneidem? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Is that right or is that not right?
It is terrible. That was
On
Yedem?
On Yedem, yeah, I think.
Oh, Yedem. Sorry.
Yedem?
My apologies.
I know. You're good. I just you're so good at everything. I have to take my jabs in there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what do we think about Ezra Raku?
I think Innie makes it. Awazarike, I think he makes it. He's 330 with
that's looking like right now.
6'10" wingspan.
Yeah, he's huge. He's just a huge dude that you guys don't have.
Henningson's hurt, so I don't think he makes it. In my opinion, the question, I think Savion Jones makes it because of the 3rd round pick last year.
I agree.
I think Jordan Jackson, Christian Williams, and Jordan Miller probably are all better football players than him right now. So that part kind of stinks. But I think they probably start with 6. Yep. And get a couple guys on the practice squad. It'd be interesting to see who they try and sneak through, though. Williams is probably your only nose, and Jordan Jackson and Jordan Miller are similar, versatile guys, but not huge stop the run kind of guys.
Yeah, and
maybe come back to there.
Yeah, Ron Stone, I think, is just a dude that they signed. They signed when they waived Taylor Rapp the first time. So, and I don't expect him to make the team.
No, he's let's take a look and see if we want to bring on a practice squad kind of guy. Yep.
All right, outside linebacker. You know this Nick Benino guy here is pretty good. Jonathan Cooper, despite all his faults, probably going to be there. I think we all like Jonah Ellis. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Dondre. I think too.
Yep, 100%.
Dondre, Q Robinson.
Okay.
Q.
I think that's carrying a lot of outside linebackers. So
it is. I think that stays there.
I think so too.
So inside, I think this is going to be the most interesting.
Yeah, I think so too.
So they got their two starters, who
JT's favorite player,
JT
Alex
hates.
Singleton.
Yep.
And I think
to
Reed is probably
give him some
Yeah.
I also have I have walked too far down the Stranad hate line and brought myself back. So you know what, we can all do it. And so I think Red Murdoch is. I think he's on the roster.
I think so too, actually.
I think these three are going to be interesting in the last game because I think they're going to get a lot of run, and we'll just kind of see who kind of pops. But again, I'm a huge Red Murdoch fan, so you're not going to hear me complain.
Yeah.
I think what you've shown, what he's not good at.
Yeah.
But the things that he's good at, he's really good at, and I think you like those things.
We
Plus,
let
special teams guy.
We let in tackles both games.
I think.
I
think he's been the green dot.
Yeah, he's kind of the one-for-one replacement with Alex Singleton in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's good. But I do think that you're tempting some fate. I think Jordan has been a good player, and then Jordan Turner, is just more of a physical option than Reed. The gap, we talked about it before. The gap between those four guys is not very big, so I wouldn't be shocked about any configuration of them. I definitely don't think Drew or Bailey, obviously because of injury. So,
yeah, the only problem is I think York has had a couple special teams mistakes in the last game, so this may that arrow for me is pointing down a little bit. So, anyway, that's fair. Moving on to cornerback. This Patrick Surtain, pretty good. Riley Moss, pretty good. Jade Barron, pretty good. Jaquan McMillan, pretty good.
Chris Abram James.
Okay. I thought you were just going to say Chris is good. Thank you.
Chris is also good.
Thank you.
Not a corner, but.
Yeah. I think five. And again, five. I think is the most you're going to be able to keep here. So,
I think so too, because you needed it in other places, and it's not clear in some of those other ones. And I think most of those guys are going to make the practice squad or could. So I think you'll let them scoot. Brandon Jones,
100%.
Good at the foosball. Talanoa Hufunga, really good at the foosball.
Devin Key is your special teams.
Is a specialty. He's a all-pro, so I think you got to do that. I think.
Yeah.
I think you got to. I think he's played pretty well.
I think you have to. Also, I think Tyson Anderson hasn't shown anything. Yeah. Parker Robinson is a guy that you can practice squad. Miles Scott, your 7th round pick. I think he's a guy that you could.
I think he's just going to get cut. So
I think so too. And because most of the time 7th round picks don't get claimed.
Yeah.
And so, I think you risk it for that biscuit.
Indeed. What are we doing about Taylor Rapp?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that he will eventually be on the roster, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they brought him in and are talking about bringing him back, it seems like.
But I think if they wait till after week 1, then his salary isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I think there's no hurry maybe to bring him on, but I wouldn't be shocked if he does. But I think I would leave him off because he is already released. So then the question, in my opinion,
you want me to
leave
him
spot.
I would say leave him off.
I do. Yeah. Just because we can only play with what? So do they keep 3 quarterbacks? Do they keep Jaleel, or do they keep an extra defensive lineman? That's Kroll.
Or Kroll,
for me, I think it's McLaughlin.
I actually agree.
Yeah, I don't think.
Interesting.
I do really like Christian.
Maybe an extra inside linebacker like Jordan Turner might not be the worst, since
he plays special teams and stuff.
Yeah,
because Jaleel really he doesn't, and
that's the problem.
He's a one-trick pony, and so I like Jaleel, but it's a little bit. It's like DeMar DeRozan for you. If he's part of the plan, I question the plan.
Yeah,
right.
He's a good player, but when hopefully you've raised the floor enough where he's a good player, but not better than the good players. So, but for some reason I have a feeling he's going to be on the roster. It's just a weird thing for me, but yeah.
You could also theoretically say, Calvin Throckmorton makes the team, just as an extra guard depth because he's got some versatility.
I would keep one of the D linemen.
Okay.
I just think that they're good players, and I think I don't think Jordan Jackson. I don't think he makes it. I think he will get snagged. That's who I would keep because he's played meaningful games and produced. And Christian Williams is an unknown, so I think maybe he'll sneak through. I think Jordan Miller, sadly, is just not as good as Jordan Jackson.
Yeah.
But I think he's NFL roster good, so I think he's going to play somewhere.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think this is a pretty good read on what the Broncos are going to do, barring any kind of weird injury or anything like that. We're a little heavy on defensive line, but that's kind of the way it is. And I expect this not to be the final 53 because it's very possible that they end up making moves after the other teams make moves.
Yep.
Hey, somebody gets cut that they didn't expect to get cut, and they kick the tires on somebody. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it is interesting. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of big surprise cuts this year. I feel like some years that we were just like, oh, someone got cut that we weren't expecting. But I think that was a lot easier, actually, than I thought it was going to be when we started doing it.
Yep. Yeah, because I just don't think there were that many spots open. It just that's one of the first times, or probably the most that I've ever looked at it being like, I know who's going to make the team.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And, and in a good way, we remember like 2016, 17, 18, something like that. I think 10 guys got claimed after cuts. That's how bad that the roster was we were taking everyone else's stuff. And so it's nice to be on the side of it. That's for gosh, I'm sure.
All right. Now, any closing thoughts, closing words for the day?
Nope.
No. Next time we chat, we'll be on to Kansas City.
That's right.
Indeed, we will.
We will. We've got. I read somewhere like hockey in like 50 some days in NHL hockey in like 50 some days. Once football season gets rolling, Nuggets season and Avs season are right around the corner, so we're going to be talking a lot about those.
True.
We got some more scouting stuff that we'll do on the as the football starts. We'll probably do a little bit of CU and CSU talk coming up here pretty soon with their seasons coming up. But thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here today. Always, like we said earlier, go follow, like, subscribe, all the things. Check out the new website. But more than anything, we just appreciate you being here. Until next time, be kind to one another, be safe. And if you need a sports prescription, ask a doctor.
I got you.
From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. So grab your crew, let's hit the show. Mile High Sports Symposium, let the good times flow.